Hello YouTube and fellow Star Wars collectors. On this episode of Toys Are the Way, we will be taking a look at another character from one of the most recent waves of vintage collection figures for 2024, Ezra Bridger, Hero of Lothal from the Ahsoka series. So once again, we have another character from the Rebels universe being added to the vintage collection, and if you're curious where I got this one from, Entertainment Earth shipped out this wave to a number of people recently. I know there have been some reports of this wave getting delayed, but hopefully these things start to ship out sooner rather than later. Now this figure is very similar to the Season 3 and 4 look that's coming with the HasLab Ghost. The only things that make it different are the yellow chestplate armor, which is actually very different if you take a closer look at like the promotional photos, and then there is no yellow striping going down the middle of his shirt. I also think there might be some different details sculpted on the shirt in general, but it's hard to compare when I don't have the HasLab version yet. So something to take note of if you didn't get the HasLab Ghost and you really want to get this version of Ezra into your collection. But with all that said and done, let's take a closer look at the card and figure. Taking a look at our vintage style packaging, we have the Star Wars and Ahsoka Series logo nicely displayed up top, followed by Ezra Bridger, Hero of Lothal on a royal blue nameplate color. We have a nice image of the character's hologram message to Sabine, paired with the Kenner logo down below at that vanishing point, looking pretty dang good in my opinion. And lastly, we have a nice, fully articulated 3.75 figure with a number of accessories, looking pretty good with those yellow and orange colors popping off that royal blue color. On the back, he is VC 319 in the line, Ezra Bridger, and we have a small description of the character, followed by the Vintage Collection logo down below, and additional images of the character and card back on that nice blue color. So this will make a fine addition to our Ahsoka Series collection, which is getting very diverse in my opinion. It's also nice to see this one offered in both scales, and it looks fantastic on a vintage style card back. We need very important characters still like Baylan and Shin, but it is nice to get another version of Ezra added to the collection. Taking a look at Ezra Bridger out of the packaging, I have got to say that Hasbro has once again delivered another stunning figure to the vintage collection. They have done a really nice job taking an animated character and giving us a live action representation of them. He looks fantastic. And originally, I kind of was hoping that, Ezra would have a bit more of a cropped haircut. It looks like he has a bit more of a buzz cut in the show, so I wasn't really feeling this hairstyle, but it's really grown on me quite a bit, and to be honest, they've done some really nice work here with the paint applications. Look at the scar on his cheek, that looks fantastic. The nice pop of blue in his eyes are just, done very, very well. And overall, this character just has a lot of nice sculpting on them. Now, this is supposed to be him from that live action show, but, it looks fantastic. And yeah, it's basically a carbon copy of the Season 3-4 look from the Ghost, but they've really done some nice work here. And then just taking a look at that chest plate, you can see that it is different, and it does look like there's a little bit more detail on this shirt, but I'm pretty sure it's actually the same. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Taking a closer look at the articulation, Ezra has everything that we want to see for a 3.75 action figure in the vintage collection. He's got the new style barbell hips, which are basically common practice now, and a breath of fresh air when it comes to collecting. He's got a swivel at the thigh, ball jointed knees, and rocker ankles. And I've got to say that both Kanan and Ezra have some really nice lower leg articulation that just makes them very fluid and a joy to pose in my collection. So I think everyone's going to really enjoy this one. He's got a pretty good 90-degree bend there, which is great, and then the soft plastic holster and stuff like that doesn't really hinder his movement, which is just always nice to see, and they've been doing a very nice job with those kind of accessories. Taking a look at the upper part, he's got ball jointed shoulders and elbows. He's got hinges at the wrist. On this arm, he has the hinge that goes back and forth. I kind of prefer the other version more, just when it comes to lightsabers, I just think it helps better with my posing. But other than that, he's got a crunch at the waist, which is nice. He can lean forward and back, and he'll just add a lot more movement to your poses. And then, of course, he's got some head articulation. Not a lot going on in terms of like looking up, but he's got a bit of movement there. So all in all, this is going to make a really nice addition to our collections. So Ezra uses a blaster pistol that's very similar to Han Solo's and just a typical weapon that you see in the Star Wars universe. And Hasbro opted to sculpt this one that's very unique to Ezra and the Rebels series, which I'm very appreciative of. But I do think it might be a little undersized in my opinion. Here you can see the one from Han Solo in his opposite hand, and I think that looks pretty good. And while the one they sculpted looks fantastic, it's just a little small in my opinion. Here you can see it looks, a little small, and his trigger finger is also not very well defined. I might slice that with an X-Acto just to give it a little bit more definition and allow it to actually slot into that trigger space, because it makes it a little awkward and he doesn't actually hold it very secure in my opinion. The other thing is it's very tiny, and while it does fit into the holster very nicely, it is also a little problematic because it might slip out. I've had some instances already where it kind of falls out, but for the most part, it's pretty secure and you should not have any problems. But yeah, that's just my opinion. And then taking a look at the unlit saber hilt, it of course clips into his belt, which is always really nice, and it's got some really good paint applications on there. And overall, this figure is a really nice addition to our collections. By the light of Lothal's moons. As a Jedi, sometimes you have to make the decision that no one else can, like investing more into the tooling budget for the vintage collection. Hasbro, I'm counting on you to see this through. We need Ezra's Peridia look in addition to this hologram figure. Ezra Bridger has been on the top of many collectors' most wanted vintage collection figure lists, and with the incredible advancements in sculpting and 3.75 action figure tooling, there's no better time than now to get the characters from the Rebels universe into the line. This Boken Jedi comes fully loaded with ball-jointed everything, modern-style barbell hips, rocker ankles, and a number of accessories, such as his blaster pistol, which fits well into the soft plastic holster, his green lightsaber, and the unlit hilt. Ezra Bridger, Hero of Lothal, is another example of Hasbro making the most out of the shared tooling from the HasLab Ghost figures. And as with most new TVC figures, Ezra poses effortlessly and feels like a quality action figure. While the hologram Hero of Lothal look was not top of my TVC wishlist for the Ahsoka series, it is nice to get this version on the earlier side, as the Ghost and crew with Ezra's Season 3 and 4 look from Rebels won't be added to our collections for another few months. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at another addition to the vintage collection for 2024, Ezra Bridger, Hero of Lothal from the Ahsoka series. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.